Welcome back. As we told you earlier, today is the one-year anniversary of the domestic terrorist attack on a Walmart in El Paso. Fox 44's Brian Glenn reached out to a security expert to see what we've learned since then.
Emily, a year later, do we know any more now on how to deal with a situation like that happened in El Paso? Do we know more now than we did back then?
Well, we do actually, and bear in mind this is a slow learning process because although these active shootings and mass shooting incidents weigh really heavy on our hearts and we remember them distinctly, for there to be a statistically significant pool of incidences to study, it takes time. And we're really just now getting to the place where we can study the instances and say, this is what active shooters tend to do. This is what tends to stop them. This is how they plan their attacks. And that helps us in figuring out how to respond and how to teach people how to save their own lives.
Okay, well, let's role play just for a second. Let's assume that we are at a big box store and we hear something that sounds like gunfire. What's one of the first things we should do?
Well, you know, the human instinct is to look around and to, maybe look at the person next to you and say, did you hear that? What was that? Maybe in your heart. I live in downtown Houston. We hear gunshots all the time. We assume that they're gunshots because we're in downtown Houston. But when you're in the grocery store, it's not as, it's maybe not something that you assume you're going to hear. But those seconds where you're looking around and you're saying, what was that? Did anyone else hear that? Is that what I think it is? Those are seconds that can save your life. So you should, when you hear something and your gut knows that it is a gunshot or likely a gunshot, drop your purse, drop your, groceries, snatch up kids that you've got around you and run, because those seconds are life-saving. You know where the sound came from, run in the opposite direction. Look, if you feel silly later because you ran away from a car backfiring, that's really a small price to pay for the alternative, which is you saved your life and your family's lives by acting quickly instead of second guessing what you heard.
Do you think just overall awareness now makes us a little safer than we were prior to all these events?
Not to mention, if you have an LTC in Texas, there are well over 1 million of us now who carry with our licenses to carry. One of the things that the studies have seen, and one of the things that continues to be confirmed since the El Paso incident last year, is that any sort of resistance, not just police rushing in, any sort of resistance from victims generally causes that active shooter to go ahead and turn the weapon on themselves and end the incident. That might just be, if you have to fight, drawing that handgun, you might not even have to use it. That might be enough for them to say, all right, it's over.
Yeah. Emily Taylor, that's great advice for us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.